Hey there guys, Conceptual Concept 6.9 here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and today I'm up in the mountains. Probably last week or so I'm going to be able to get out here. Snow's starting to touch on the peaks and soon it'll be traveling lower. But I came across this wrecked pickup truck here in the middle of what looks to be logging country, and I thought it would be a good backdrop to shoot a video. So especially regarding what we're talking about today. So I know there's a lot of controversy about this. If you subscribe to Brass Facts and you really agree with most of what he says, I think that you'll probably like this. If you don't and you think it's overkill, might be some merit there as well. But for me, I like the idea of having a bag gun. So I've got a bag right here, and I keep a gun in it. Something a little more substantial than my pistol. I keep an MP5K. So this is an SBR. Know your local and state laws before you make a bag gun out of an SBR. There are a lot of states where you can only concealed carry a pistol, in which case SBRing this would have been a mistake. But where I am, it's perfectly legal. So bag guns are definitely riddled with some controversy. Brass Facts really believes in them, even states that he thinks that they are almost more useful than an AR-15 for 95% of, you know, what we might expect civil unrest to be. And there's some merit to that. I definitely kind of subscribe to that as well. I lived in Washington during the 2020 riots, and things got pretty spicy there. Luckily, never got into a violent altercation, but let's just say that there are points where I could have seen some merit to having something a little more substantial. And with election season blooming, we're less than a month away from elections. We all know if one party loses and one party wins, there are going to be riots again, just like in 2016. In the wake of those riots, you might want something more substantial than your pistol, because you might have organized large groups that you might have to defend yourselves against. Now, one of the best examples to current date is, well, we know Kyle Rittenhouse. He defended himself with an AR-15, and I hate to say it, I think the fact that he was carrying an AR-15 made him a target, which is where something like a bag gun definitely can come into play. You want something more substantial, more easy to shoot than your pistol, but you don't want to put a big target on your back either. So I really like this option, especially if you're looking at some severe civil unrest without rule of law, an old nut and fancy term, but something along the lines of that. You might have to work, you might have to go about your day to day with an increased risk of violence, and you might want something more substantial than your pistol. Now, this is really where I think the PCC shines. Also, the super short 300 blackouts or 7.62 by 39s like the SIG Rattlers would shine in this role as well, but I like the PCC just because they get even smaller than the tiny 300 blackouts, and it affords you a lot of space. So before we talk about my gun, let's talk about my setup. So this is a laptop bag. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. This is a laptop bag. In the front, I have normal everyday stuff. I keep my laptop, I keep some snacks, I keep some water, stuff to just get by the day by day. But in the back, I have a Haley Strategic placard in here. See if we can show that. If not, I'll get some B-roll in here. But I have a Haley Strategic placard in here with 4 extra magazines, and I can keep this guy on the back as well. So what's nice about this is I'm able to keep this on me all day. It's pretty nondescript. I actually got this at Goodwill for I think 10 bucks. So if you're carrying a bag gun, I'd strongly recommend not using some Molly tactical backpack or even Vertex. People know what Vertex bags are at this point. Just go to your local Goodwill, find a laptop bag, find something in that kind of realm and run that. But let's go over the MP5. So again, I think this is really where PCCs are going to stay alive. PCCs are falling out of favor with a lot of people. A lot of people think they're fairly close to useless, but what's nice about them is they get stupid small in the K configurations, but they're very easy to shoot fast, accurately, and reliably out to about 100 yards. Plus, they give you more firepower than your pistol, right? Just in case things get a little spicy. So let's go over my bag gun and what I think about it. I think, again, like I said, this is really where PCCs shine, specifically the Ks. This is a Century Arms AP5P. So it is the MP5K clone made by the MK factory. I don't know how many people remember Zenith. The old Zeniths, they were made by the MK factory. So this is essentially the same quality. I don't recommend buying things Century actually manufactures, but the things they import tend to be pretty good, like the washers. This guy is no slouch. MKE is built on HK tooling. They have HK licensing to do the machining. So this is a very high quality MP5 clone. This guy came with the tri-lug, which I have my Omega 9K silencer on here. The Omega 9K is not the best can for noise reduction. It's more to take that bite out, and boy does it. So past that, I have a Magpul handguard on here. I really think that the Magpul handguards are ugly as sin, but there are a few things I like about it over the other handguard options. So one of the big things I like is that it affords you Picatinny rail on both sides. Now there are aluminum Picatinny rail options, but polymer doesn't heat sink with the gun. So when you get a higher round count, those aluminum handguards start to heat up. This keeps nice and cool. I also like that it has a hand stop here. That's very, very nice to make sure that your hand is not going in front of the muzzle, especially if you're not running a silencer. And then I have a Magpul vertical grip, which I goon taped, and I goon taped the pressure pad for my light on here. Because you have very little real estate on this gun for pressure pads, I really like it being on the grip, and I can just press with my support hand fingers here to get the light running. Past that, I am running a Surefire Vampire light. Really like the Vampires. I think they actually have better throw than a lot of the higher lumen Surefire options, and it affords me the IR capability. Now, am I going to be running a bag gun with night vision? Probably not, but gives me the option, right? So another thing I did forget to mention about the Magpul handguard is it actually comes over the front of the receiver, and if you've shot these guns a lot, the receiver right in here gets really hot. So if you're running a pistol configuration where you can't have a vert grip and get off that portion, this actually saves your hand. I was finding with the factory handguard, I was getting pretty toasty within a couple mags, whereas this will keep your hand nice and cool. Moving back, I have a Midwest Industries claw mount. This has held up really well. I've dropped this gun quite a few times, and it hasn't lost zero or come loose. And I'm running an Aimpoint T1. I'm running it on the higher mount just because personally I run high mounts a lot, so this is just more natural. I shoot it better like this. And past that, I am running the Magpul safety selector. If you don't have a Magpul safety selector for your MP5, get one. It really solves the safety issue where you kind of have to get off the grip to switch the safety on and off. Very, very handy. And lastly, I am running a JMac 1913 adapter with a SIG minimalist stock on here. So this gun is very, very cool. It has quickly become one of my favorite guns in my collection. I shoot it really well, and that's why I choose to keep it in a bag where I can have it handy in case things get really, really spicy. God forbid it does. I hope this next election cycle, whoever wins, we can remain peaceful. So overall, I think this is a very valuable gun to have in inventory, something for a bag. I might be wrong here. Let me know in the comments down below. But I think there's some value to it. Let me know down in the comments down below what your thoughts are on it. If you like it, if you think it's very cash money, if you think it's very dumb, or somewhere in between, just let me know, all right? Anyways, don't forget to go outside, enjoy nature's beauty, and eat that booty, all right, guys?